you doing today? Michael Zuber, author of One Rental at a Time. And if you've been following the channel for any length of time, you know that we just came back from a vacation, kind of went off to decompress and chill after a interesting 14 or 16 months, depending on how you are counting it. But one of the things I did is I kind of sat back and thought about topics that I wanted to do live streams with you on. And these really are based on questions and topics that I get from our Saturday live streams, from student interactions and the like. And this one is about being debt free, a la Dave Ramsey, Susie Orman, and being financially free, a la Robert Kiyosaki, maybe Grant Cardone. Being financially free, financially free, but with millions of dollars in debt. There really does seem to be cross currents out there in the market. So I thought I would talk about them. I think I'll start with being debt free. One of the things you learn very quickly once you turn 18 and you could start signing your name on credit cards and debt is that the rat race is real. The hyper consumerism, the keeping up with the Joneses, whatever you want to call it, 68 to 69% of our economy is about turning you into a consumer. The newest shirt, the nicest food, the nicer car, the nicer shoes, whatever it is. It is very easy to rack up debt and expensive debt, often talked about as bad debt. That is why I believe the folks like Dave Ramsey, the debt snowball, and everything he talks about getting somebody from a negative net worth to zero is so popular. It is actually very easy to understand. You have 5 credit cards, you have student debt, you have a car loan, you have hospital bills, whatever it is, you got a bunch of negative numbers. Dave Ramsey helps you understand how to get rid of that consumer debt, whether you're using the snowball or avalanche approach. These are very, very helpful and unfortunately things that lots of us need to hear about. What is not told to you, and something I have brought in my Get Your Money Right course, is the reality that you, yes, you, make the choices. You bought the car. You bought the clothes. You bought the new widget or iPhone or whatever it is on credit. We need to take a lot more personal ownership of our decisions, especially decisions around debt. I call them needs versus wants. These are things that Olivia and I sacrificed for 15 years. We went from spending every single penny we earned to saving 10, then 15, then 20%, so on and so forth. Getting out of debt or becoming debt-free is an awesome goal for lots of people. Unfortunately, it is slow. It can be painful. Life events can come out of nowhere and cause more debt. Oh, the car broke, we need a new one. Oh, my mom needs this or my dad needs that. It is something that often means you must work 40 hours for 40 years to hopefully live on 40%. I think debt-free is a great goal for most people. Unfortunately, if you're following this channel, you probably want more. You probably at least have an interest in what is called passive income. You may have an interest in understanding how you can understand and evaluate markets. You probably have an interest in understanding how can I use debt conservatively to help me become financially free. If you are listening or watching or reading One Rental at a Time, this book right here, 15-year journey, is built on millions and millions and millions of dollars in debt. Most of that debt is fixed for 30 years. I got the longest term debt I could on apartments, which at the time were 10 years. Again, you have to take some interest rate risk off the table. But rest assured, one rental at a time does not exist if my goal was to be debt free. If you read this book, you will hear about our first purchase on Norris Drive. It was 107 grand. By the time we would have had enough money to buy property number 2, it probably would have been a decade, maybe 12 years. I would still be working. Financial freedom with real estate requires conservative, ideally fixed rate long-term debt. I talk to people all the time. In fact, I did an interview, I think last weekend, with somebody who's all confused because they're following Dave Ramsey to get out of debt. Then they get into real estate for positive cash flow, and they do crazy things. They get a 15-year mortgage, they send extra checks, and they're wondering why they can't buy a second property. They spend so much money, getting down, they don't have the adequate emergency reserves should a great deal or should an issue come up. Folks, being debt-free, again, is an awesome goal for most people. If you are willing to sacrifice, do the work, earn financial freedom, there is a better way, and it will require debt and likely millions of dollars in debt. When you think financial freedom, remember it's a very simple formula. Income minus expenses equals really what they call net, or they call disposable income. I call your freedom dollars. The goal is to get your freedom dollars in excess of your expenses, whether that's with cash flow from real estate, it's whether or not it's from your side hustle, whatever it happens to be. You can read about our story of 15 years, 1031 exchanges, hard money, private money, flips, all the things in this book. It is absolutely possible. I tell most people what they should do is they should start with a goal of 4. Don't talk about 100 or 1,000 before you have 1. Let's get you to 1, then 4, then 10, then do whatever you would like. Again, I want to say it again. Debt-free is an awesome goal for most people. If you're following this channel, you have interest in real estate, I got bad news for you. You're not going to be debt-free. You'll probably be out of bad debt. You won't have credit cards. You probably won't have car loans, but you're going to have debt. You're probably going to have millions of dollars in debt by the time you get into this thing, years, if not a decade. So I just wanted to have that conversation. I know it kind of, when I talk to somebody who watches or follows Dave Ramsey, it is uncomfortable for both of us because they buy an asset, then all they do is they focus on paying that asset off and they don't look up and realize that they can use their capital differently. Today, folks, if you have 0 or 1 or 2 rentals, you can get a 30-year fixed rate mortgage with a 3 on it. We just reported CPI the other day at like 5.5%. 3% money. That's like free money. Go get 30-year fixed rate money. Now, if you follow my course, one rental at a time, you know it takes work. You create a tight buy box. You do your daily work. I'm telling you right now, and again, we are in a housing slowdown, which means you will see more inventory. You will see price drops. You will even uncover motivated sellers. But you've got to do the work. You've got to look every day. So again, being debt-free is a great goal. Financial freedom, I honestly think, is a better goal. Financial freedom can occur very early. I've talked to plenty of high school seniors and made them all know that by the time they are 24 or 25, they could be financially free if, big if they can continue to live on $2,000 a month. So again, if you want financial freedom, realize and be comfortable with the fact that you're going to need debt. You're likely going to need lots of debt. But again, go look up Dave Ramsey. The reason he went bust and bankrupt is he had short-term 90-day debt at high interest rates into a recession. I'm not talking about high leverage. Put 25% down, put 30% down, but get comfortable with debt. Make sure you have cash flow. And let's get on the journey. Get 1, then 4, then 10. After 10, get as many as you would like. hopefully that makes sense. This is a conversation I just wanted to have. I get lots of questions about being debt free and financial freedom, and you guys are confusing the topics because it's really hard to have one if you're going after the other. It just doesn't work that way. Bye.